Ain't it good to know that you have a friend? Why, a time and everything for my dulcet tones. It is.
Is that what that was?
I'm not even sure what dulcet is, but I know it gets said before the word tones a lot. It is 5:45. I'm Danny Bonaduce. This is KZOK. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Fabulous. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Just shy of fabulous, but give me a couple minutes.
Okay.
Hey, you know what I noticed
What's that?
today down in the garage? For the second day in a row, there's been this pink-haired lady parking her car, and we ride up in the elevator. And then there was a guy coming in the door into the office. And both people, whoever said, good morning, how are you to me first, I replied, sleepy or tired. I've been up for hours every day. I get up. I used to get up at 4. For the past month, I've been getting up at 3:30. Half hour on the guitar, hour on the treadmill. And I'm the least tired person in the whole world. But it seems like some kind of natural will probably have that in common.
Yeah, you want to identify with the other person because it's early in the morning.
Yeah, it's 5:20 morning when I look at the pink hair lady and I say, how's it going? And she says, tired. What am I going to do? Chef, woo, these hours. So basically, I think I'm making friends left and right, but I think I'm lying to most of them right off the bat.
It's a bad way to start a relationship.
Yeah, how you doing there, Dave? Oh, exhausted. I'm totally not.
At least someone's talking to you. I park next to the same guy every day.
Yeah.
And once in a while, I see him. Yesterday, I said, good morning, and he just looked at me.
You know what? I don't know what I didn't like about his car. I know exactly who you're talking about, but I was going to actually ask you who that guy is, and I've never seen him as far as I know, yet don't like him.
2 times now, I have said, good morning, looked him in the face, right in the face, in the eyes, I suppose, is right,
Whatever you got.
what you said.
Yeah, wherever.
He just looks at me. He does not respond.
What if he doesn't speak English?
He speaks English.
How do you know?
I could tell. Look at that car. Look at that car.
Can you smell it on him?
Can you tell?
Is there that you can do? What is it, a Subaru?
It's a Subaru, and he's got
It's a pretty
some,
American car.
and he's got something on the roof that he's like an active guy, but he does not work here at iHeart. He works in the building.
Yeah.
But should I punch him next time?
Definitely.
Yes,
That's going to make things much better.
Yeah. And then
Far more
when the
comfortable.
police come and say, well, he didn't respond because he doesn't speak a word of English, won't you feel silly?
Then I'll say buenos dias.
Yeah.
I'll say
because it's automatically
Guten Morgen.
Spanish, Sarah. That's what it is. First he's a mute.
Guten
now he's
Morgen.
a Latino? Oh, that's good. That's
Because he drives a Subaru.
Subaru.
He's got to speak Spanish.
I don't know what, there's an ist after what's happening here, but I don't know what ist it is.
Race?
Speaking of making friends and stuff, I got a couple of new friends, which is weird. You know, I don't really make friends. I like to. I want to.
Yeah.
I make friends like when people talk to me when I'm out and about, and it seems like this is the beginning of a beautiful relationship, and then that's that. It was, they just used me for lunch.
Yeah, when you chase him down and say, wait, I got to get your number,
Right.
then things are weird.
That's exactly right. Like, for example, and I'm worried about this with my guitar teacher. His name is Jacob, fine young man.
Yeah.
I think we want to be pals together. You guys just saw this happen. He just butt dialed me at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
He's going to be all flipped out. I didn't mean to call you at 5 in the morning. It's not like I think we should make biscuits together or whatever slang I mean to say what I mean.
You're never going to hear from him again.
Is that what's going to happen?
Yeah,
I don't want to. He's a pretty good guitar teacher.
Sorry.
In the sense that he teaches me exactly what I want to know and doesn't make me practice. So he's my favorite guitar teacher I've ever had. But back up, everybody. You're going to need some room for this. I have a new friend. And his name is Cliff Averill. Whoa, calm down.
Cliff Averill, former Seahawk.
Seahawk, now KJR dude, right?
Yeah, Sports Radio KJR,
He's
right
on
down the
there.
hall.
Pulls up a couple of times. I've seen him pull up in just a supercar. And the cool thing is, the last time I saw him pull up in a supercar, I realized, that's a different supercar. You're a very well-to-do young man, Mr. Averill. Let's be friends. And then I'm pretty sure I won him over. Here, let me explain.
Yeah.
So I waved to him one time when he was driving. And I'm an enthusiastic waver. I'm not a sup. I'm a, hi, how are you? Good to see you. Do you have a dog? Let's talk. And so I waved to him, and he didn't wave back, but he has really dark glass on his windows. So then, like a week later, he was driving up. As I turned, I could see he was waving to me because he wants to be friends with me.
Sure, yeah.
But as I registered that, he was gone. So what happened is the whole time he was waving, I was looking away. So he thinks I don't wave.
Yeah.
He thinks I'm a non-waver when nothing could be further from the truth,
You're
Cliff Averill.
rejecting his friendship.
Well, it gets worse, I think. So it happened again, literally day before yesterday. It happened again. He was making the left turn off of Elliott right here onto whatever street we work on. And I look up and he's waving as he's pulling away. It's like he's been waving that whole time. I
Yeah.
did not wave back.
How rude of you.
He does not see. That's what I think he's thinking. And I want to be pals with Cliff Averill in a big way, don't
Who
you
doesn't?
think? Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Exactly.
If you're making friends, can I recommend Cliff Averill in a huge way? Smart car, super smart dresser.
Yeah.
Apparently a pretty damn good sports figure in on the field and also on the radio. Like,
Yeah,
he's the whole package. Now I don't want to discuss his package because in case he's up right now or his friends are going to come and go, Danny Bonaduce's talking about your package. It's super weird. I don't want to talk about his package, but he seems like an all-around great guy, so it wouldn't hurt to be friends. So yesterday I was walking around. I don't know. We had a big meeting here at the radio station, and everybody was here, and there was Cliff Averill with a guy walking with obviously a friend of his, and they were talking about a new hip hop station. I happen to know about a new hip hop station.
You do?
Yeah, I do. I said, oh, I think you mean the Cube.
Yeah.
So it's all that in a bag of chips.
Is that
No,
what
no,
you said?
yeah,
You
I
didn't say
did.
that. Please tell me you didn't say
No,
that.
I did, but I said it like goofy white guy saying intentionally stupid things.
I mean,
And
you're
they-
already saying the Cube. Which
It's not the Cube?
No.
No.
Why not?
Because that's your goofy white guy saying it's Cube 93.3.
There's
The
no
Cube.
Not the Cube. There's
Say-
no the, just like
listen,
there's no the
no.
White Center.
You're high.
The
Listen to
KZOK.
Listen to this.
Yeah.
Cube.
Yeah.
The Cube.
Yeah, one of those
Cube.
is a radio station. The other
Yeah,
one,
the Cube.
the other one is a game you played in the 80s where you twist the colors around until they match up.
Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
No, that's Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, the
See,
Cube.
it's not the Cube.
The Cube.
See, you said it right. All right. So anyway, I figure that I am in now. And if he doesn't
Yeah.
know the Cube exists, then he doesn't know I'm now saying it wrong. So I'm
True.
still okay. So I say the Cube.
Yeah.
I say a little something about it because they say it's all hip hop, and I said all hip hop all the time. I really did. I said it. Oh man, now that I'm thinking about this, I might have been going down in flames the whole time. So he goes, thanks, and his buddy, and they start to walk away, and I said at this exact pitch, wait. Well, they were far away, and they're large. So I said, wait, and they both turned around. And I said, listen, man, I've been meaning to tell you this. Twice I've seen you wave at me. And I don't wave back. And now I think I'm the kind of guy that won't wave to Cliff Averill. And nothing could be further from the truth. So I would just like to say, and then I did jazz hands. I went, so.
You waved your
You
hands up in
gave-
the air.
I did. I gave jazz hands.
The
Dang.
biggest wave you could possibly
Yeah.
do with both hands.
To show that I'm waving.
Yeah,
'Cause
you're a
'cause
waver.
He waves a little cooler if you're a big fan of Cliff Averill.
Yeah.
He waves. He does the sup kind of, but it's an official. It's not like a maybe he's waving. He's waving at me twice. So now I think I caught up. And now I think we're best buddies. And he's going to come over
yeah.
for a sleepover.
Definitely.
To
We're-
listen to the Cube
and we're
together.
going to listen to the Cube while making s'mores. It's the way to go.
One person was killed this morning when their car was struck by a train in Marysville. The car was on the tracks on the 8900 block of State Avenue when this collision occurred just a few hours ago. The impact carried the car all the way to 104th Street, where it was finally jarred loose and came to rest on the north side of the street. Police and medics arrived to find the driver had died at the scene, and the crash is being investigated, which should last later till this morning.
I tell you, I have changed my opinion, especially on pedestrians and train accidents. Like, how did you not know a train was coming? You're on the tracks. That's what trains use.
Yeah.
They make a lot of noise. And then the most recent death, the guy was actually kind of waiting for a train, sitting there watching for the train to go one way, and the train on the tracks was going, say, east to west. There's another train coming on the other track, which canceled out the noise. He was there for a train and didn't realize another one be coming on a track closer to him. It's like, oh man, that's not totally. Didn't have earplugs in or whatever those buds are called or anything like that. I don't know about the car and being taken to 100 whatever street. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of people are saying that they need to change the way the train tracks are, like not the tracks on the ground, but a lot of these places don't have any arms.
Right.
So there's no designation that there's a train that could be rolling by, or you think you've got time and
I know it'd be $1 bazillion, but I think elevated tracks are a really good idea.
Yeah.
Especially if we're going to get a high-speed train train doing 190 miles an hour sees something up there and it's already over. By the time register, is that a car? Boom. I think we
Right.
got to raise them up.
Judges in Seattle have agreed to clear past misdemeanor convictions for marijuana possession that had been prosecuted before marijuana was legalized here in Washington state. All 7 judges of the Seattle Municipal Court signed an order setting out a process for vacating those cases. An attorney had asked for those cases to be vacated. 542 people could be affected. So they're behind bars for weed,
Yeah.
and now it's legal.
And
so
Still behind bars, or this is people who have been let out and they're going to have their cases cleared?
most of these are misdemeanors, but not all of them. They
Right.
said this happened starting in 1996 and went up to 2010. And in 2010, they stopped prosecuting these, even though it wasn't legal. They were considered misdemeanors and a waste of the court's time. So 542 people will have to look and see if anybody is still behind bars or if they've all been let out or if they just are going to have clean records now.
And there are guys that are, because the laws are crazy and 3-strike rules, which are not necessarily terrible, but there's still that guy in Louisiana doing 11 years over a joint that people
Yeah.
protest. They might want to, whether it's legal nationwide or not, you might want to start letting some folks out of jail that never hurt anybody and just bought, some buds from his friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get if anybody's still in jail over prosecution from 8 years ago that was for marijuana, yeah, let them out. But I think clearing people's records, it was illegal when you did it. You knew it was illegal.
Sure.
Whether it's legal now or not doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know if it makes sense. I wouldn't have a strong opinion either way because you can say philosophically speaking, it was never a crime and the laws were wrong. You never really committed a crime. The laws were they weren't congruent with the way life was being lived at the time. So you can make a decent argument either way, but whether or not they should be in jail, I think it's pretty obvious they should not.
Yeah.
Seattle's red-hot real estate market has begun to cool, and a new report out by Redfin, which is a real estate brokerage company, they said Seattle had the steepest home sales decline in the nation, falling almost 20% from the same month last year. At the same time, Seattle's inventory of homes for sale was up nearly 50% from last year.
Wow, that's a lot.
It's good
Yeah.
news for buyers.
Yeah, real good
This
news
is
for
true.
buyers.
The
Not
increase,
great news for sellers.
You know what? It's an imagined kind of thing. If you go out right now to look for the $800,000 medium-priced home, that's exactly what you'll find. If you take 20% off that, like we're reporting right now, what's that? $160,000. Try and find a house in Seattle for not the $800,000. You won't find it. They're spreading out where you can and can't buy, but the market's definitely cooling off. Redfin, by the way, because they do estimates of what your house is worth and they try and get you to sell your house.
Yeah.
They're the highest of everybody. Who says my house is worth $1 gazillion more than
Right.
the next guy? So I
Yeah.
don't know about Redfin.
market and fewer buyers are stepping up to purchase. So even if you are finding those prices, Danny, in that median price range, those houses are staying on the market, whereas before those houses were gone within 3 days.
And I have no idea what I do. I brought you with the actual fold out on one house right up the street from me. 2-bedroom, 2 baths, 1,400 square foot or whatever, 800,000.
Wow.
And
That's
it'll go.
crazy.
It'll go.
Right. It's just not going to go for 20% above asking anymore. So
No.
the market's definitely cooling down because this is the third report we've seen. The other was from the Schiller Index, and then we had one from either Trulia or Zillow. So they're all seemingly in accordance. Now, in Tacoma, home prices continued to soar 12.1% over the same time last year. So Tacoma's market is
That's
still
not
red
bad.
hot.
Yeah.
Third highest in the nation for Tacoma.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, good on you.
And it's all those people who couldn't afford to buy
Yes, it
the
is.
house in Seattle and had to
Possibly.
move further south.
A U.S. judge ordered federal protection be restored for grizzly bears in the northern Rocky Mountains, a move that blocks the first grizzly hunts that were planned in the lower 48 in almost 3 decades. Wyoming and Idaho had been on the cusp of allowing hunters to kill up to 23 bears this fall, and this judge, who has twice delayed the hunt, has now blocked them entirely. So as I said, haven't done this since 1991. Alaska's different, but the lower 48, we haven't done this in forever. And they said, can't do it. Judge has banned it. On to New Jersey. A baby girl was found crawling across a New Jersey road, prompting officials to launch an investigation. And a photo of this shocking incident has gone viral on social media. A motorist spotted the child and thought it was a toy. Said, "What the heck is that in the road? That can't be a baby."
Yeah, it must be a doll or something, right?
Then the baby started moving.
Oh.
And he took out his phone and took some pictures and then used his vehicle to slow down traffic because he was concerned that other cars were coming and were going to hit the baby. He was able to pull over, get the, stand there, and so the traffic would come in. A neighbor, somebody around the neighborhood, came and got the baby out of the middle of the road.
Let me see if I have this hero right. Sees a baby in the road, pulls over, takes some pictures to deliver to the news later, and then still doesn't grab said baby. Waits for neighbors to come out. There's a baby in the highway. Have you seen this thing?
I have not seen the baby, no.
When you look at it, you'll go, there's no way that's staged in some way. It's not. It's a little baby in lane number 2, by the way. It's not just beginning, it's crawling the highway. So I say semi-shame on that guy. You could have gone and got the baby.
Yeah.
Now, the parents say the baby escaped while they weren't looking. I don't know if they used the word escaped or not. That's the thing. I don't know how to feel about it. I mean, I only lost a baby once in my whole life.
Did you?
For less than 10 seconds.
Okay.
But in those 10 seconds, it was the most horrifying thing ever.
Yeah.
It was Dante or Isabel, I don't remember, they were at Burbank Airport, and they let him or she or whatever, one of my kids, go through the metal detector. And they just let him go, and now he's on the other side of the metal detector.
That's crazy.
He takes off, so I take off. I get through. I tell him. They say okay. I run. He's around the corner. This was all at 10 seconds. That's a horrifying 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You know, it really is. So I don't know that any parent intentionally let their kid walk in the street, but I gotta go. Accidents do happen. I mean, what's the appropriate punishment? I guess it depends on the security of their house. Did they out baby it and make it safe?
And if it's an infant, they don't move very fast. Like, how long were you not looking at that baby?
Right.
When I was still crawling, we moved from Boston to the suburbs. And I didn't like the house, apparently, and left. My parents were in the process of moving, and a door wasn't secured, so I decided to go after them. And I was found 5 blocks from my house.
Wow.
And you
Crawling.
couldn't walk?
Crawling.
5 blocks.
That's
crawling.
insane.
Crawling.
I mean, I had doubts
I was probably
about...
walking a little bit at that point, but you know how kids walk when you're 1 or 2, you fall all
You were
the time.
toddling?
Yeah, I was toddling.
I had doubts about your parents before with the no toys thing, but now I think they just didn't like you in particular.
It's entirely possible.
Entirely 5 blocks crawling.
5 blocks.
You know, that sounds like the death march of Bataan. You know, you got prisoners of war, and you're really going to show them you're going to crawl 5 whole blocks, American.
Yeah, I have no memory of this. So if I was 2, I was probably walking a little bit.
I don't know what you were
Yeah,
doing.
you should have been.
I would think I was like probably doing a little bit of both,
You
but
should have been.
I have no memory of this whatsoever.
No, this all makes it much better, and your parents aren't terrible people now.
Well, you can't then say that these parents aren't terrible people because
I never
they
said that these parents aren't terrible people.
yeah, they believe a sibling must have left a door ajar.
Right, blame the other kid.
Yeah.
that's what I would
Great
do.
parenting move.
Especially if the kid's really young and can't talk.
Yeah, so that kid that I wasn't watching that was in the middle of the road, it was the fault of the other kid I also wasn't watching.
Okay, that's a good point. Well, the welfare organization of this town is investigating because either way, y'all are right that your parents are supposed to keep an eye on you.
Yeah, definitely. If you want your shot to win that money, text it right now to 200-200 for your chance to win. KZOK.com for all the rules and details, and we'll have more chances throughout the day.
Awesome. A herd of cattle were swept away from a field in Oklahoma due to heavy floodwaters that hit some parts of the state. You know, the times we're living in, there are video cameras everywhere.
Yeah, sure.
Which shows dozens of cows being forcibly overtaken by a tremendous amount of water just outside of Oklahoma City. 13 inches of rain flooded a field, and then there was such
How
force.
small are those cows? Yeah. 13 inches? Drown the cow?
Well, that most of the time the water doesn't get sucked into the ground, so that water has to go somewhere, so it became bigger than 13 inches. It wasn't just standing water.
No, I feel the cows could be in danger. Remember the footage yesterday of people having to go along the street to wash the fish away?
Yeah.
Because all the dead fish had lined the streets.
Right.
What's going to happen to these cows? Do you imagine the hose you're going to have to wash away the dead cows?
Well, most of them were able to get to land. There are still a couple that are unaccounted for, but its owner has faith that they are going to all be recovered and intact, unlike those fish. Fortune has come out with their list of the most powerful women in the world, and there is somebody new at number 1, replacing Oprah Winfrey.
Really?
Now, Oprah is back on the list of the 2018 most powerful women because of her involvement with Weight Watchers. She hadn't been on there for a while. She hadn't really been doing anything, so she's still rich, but she's not powerful.
Well, she had a network.
Yeah, but that wasn't really doing anything.
Yeah, she had the TV
I
network.
watch it.
She had a magazine, right? Doesn't she still have a
They
magazine?
have drama shows. I don't know, but I
She
never
still
looked at
has
the
a
magazine.
magazine.
But she still has a magazine. She has her own network called OWN, which just stands for, is not only a good idea, but stands for Oprah Winfrey Network.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's status quo. She hadn't really been doing anything, so she wasn't deemed to be the most powerful woman in the world. For this year, it is Marilyn Hewson, who is the chairman and president and CEO of Lockheed Martin. So she's in
She's the
charge-
new Oprah.
she's
Apparently.
pretty powerful. This, of course, is the aerospace defense company. She moves up 2 spots, and General Motors chairman and CEO Mary Barra is also on the number 2 most powerful women, alongside Fidelity Investment chairman and CEO Abigail Johnson. She's at number 3. Now, Oprah did get back onto the list, and the lady who helps to run Facebook, she's also on the list. Now,
Is she still there?
she is still there.
There's crazy resignations going on at Facebook this
Yeah.
morning.
She's at number 6, Sheryl Sandberg. And former Pepsi chief exec Indra Nooyi, who did step down from her position, was not featured on the list, or she would have been. Now, Oprah, as I said, back on because of Weight Watchers. Since she joined, invested in Weight Watchers, they have skyrocketed. Their sales are up almost 20%, and their stock prices have surged.
And I don't see that much marketing for them. What's the one with Marie Osmond?
That's
Nutrisystem?
Nutrisystem. They market constantly. And now she's kind of the host of a commercial, but it's geared toward men losing weight on this thing. It's much more in your face than Oprah with this Weight Watchers thing.
right, and it doesn't seem that they need it because Weight Watchers is doing really, really well. But yesterday, the company announced they would only be known now as WW, not
The Cube.
Weight Watchers.
WW.
WW.
Is their website going to be www.www.com?
Ooh, maybe.
And what if
might
they
be.
do kind of a spinoff? Is that going to be WW2? Because nobody wants that back.
Now, they said it's not just about weight, it's about wellness and a lot of Kentucky Fried Chicken. They are KFC.
So Weight Watchers is saying we should eat more Kentucky Fried
That's what I'm
Chicken.
getting
Is
from
that?
this.
Home Shopping Network also took the initials route. They are HSN.
Yeah.
So Weight Watchers said it's not just about weight, it's wellness. So they're just going to be WW. Wellness that works. Wellness Wins is the new program. So Weight Watchers is just WW.
What the thing? Fit. Strong is the new sexy. Or strong's the new black. I don't know. I don't remember. But the slogans are
Something.
I think it was strong is the new sexy.
For what?
Just in general health and fitness. And it was a headline that caught my eye. And I kind of liked it. And I can't really do it. Like, 'cause the first thing I think about being really healthy is you should be able to run a certain amount of distance. Nah, forget it. Not even if I'm on fire. Well, I'm going to stop, drop, and roll. So why would I run?
But if your whole thing is, I don't like dropping the weight from the name, because if your whole thing is a diet plan, nobody joins a diet plan for overall wellness. Even if they say they do, I want to lose weight. That's the only thing.
And I want to be sexier to the opposite sex, even
Exactly,
if I'm
yeah,
married for 50
right.
years.
So we'll change the name to I'm going to be sexy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
that'd work.
I'm too sexy for Oprah. It's a new song.
When it comes to memorable Halloween parties, getting dressed up and celebrating all things ghoulish are kind of getting kicked up a notch this year. you could spend Halloween in Transylvania.
Well, couldn't I spend Halloween in Transylvania any year I wanted that I had the money?
Not if you wanted to go to Bran Castle, which is Dracula's house. It wasn't that bad.
No, it was fine.
that was pretty good.
I
We're
would
just-
have ridiculed you. I didn't even notice. So it was fine.
They are offering a Dracula's Halloween Party in Transylvania tour. Catchy name. Very reasonably priced, $389, not including airfare.
Well, of course it's reasonably priced. They keep it in Transylvania. Who goes there?
My uncle did go there. It's in Romania.
I saw Anthony Bourdain go there, and he hated it. He
Really?
went to that castle, and they were having a Halloween party, and he did not want to play along. People in costume running up to him going, boo. Apparently not his thing.
Yeah.
I haven't been to Romania, but it's supposed to be really beautiful, and they have a lot of salt caves that are supposed to be healthy and restorative. But this will be either 3 or 7 nights in Transylvania. And you get to go to Bran Castle, which was the castle of Vlad the Impaler.
Okay.
You're not in line?
No, because you could just tell me tell me something
Yeah.
closer to my house is that castle.
Right.
Tell me something down the street. Tell me something at Disney World.
Hey, Dan, you want to come over later?
Why? What's happening?
I have Dracula's castle at my house.
Is it in your living room?
Yep.
Can I sleep over?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. Saved me thousands.
A little known historical fact that Dracula's
Sarah.
castle was actually in Seattle. Yeah.
Workers at a Colorado restaurant say they're just going to have to grin and bear through the rest of their week after a bear wreaked havoc inside their restaurant. They put a note up on the door when they realized what had happened and said, "Sorry, we are closed due to bear shenanigans."
Bear shenanigans.
But a bear went inside this restaurant and went crazy pants. They said,
Didn't have pants. You say that, but it was, first of all, it's bear twice. It has no pants, and it's bear.
If it did have pants, that's why it went crazy.
No, it'd be Winnie the Pooh if it had pants. That'd be really nice. No, Winnie didn't have pants, did he?
No, just a shirt.
Yeah, that's weird. Donald Duck,
Super
too.
weird.
What is up?
"Who dressed that bear?"
Yeah.
This bear was able to break into their sushi freezer.
Oh, Amy'd fight him for it.
Yeah. And as you can imagine, a bear breaking into your restaurant's going to do a lot of damage. They think probably another week till they fix the shenanigans.
Jeez, that's a lot of shenanigans.
In England, an animal rescuer was called to a London home for reports of a collapsed lizard right in the road.
A collapsed lizard?
Yes.
Wow, that's embarrassing.
Oh my goodness, look right there outside of my house in my garden. There's a collapsed lizard. You need to come and help it. It's unresponsive. And when they arrived, animal rescue arrived at the scene.
Give it mouth to mouth.
It
Is
was
that even technically a mouth?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. And they give the little tiny oxygen masks. Those are so fun.
well, they would have done all that, except it turned out to be a dog's toy.
Oh.
Well, why did we all not know that? It collapsed lizard. If I don't know what it is, but I know what it's not, and it's not a collapsed lizard. I don't even know what that means.
It actually wasn't even a lizard. It was an elephant.
Wow.
Somebody needs glasses.
Yeah.
Somebody
seriously.
needs glasses.
It's in really poor health. It keeps squeaking.
It must have asthma.
It's time for today's Things Are Not Right in Florida story of the day.
Yay!
A woman told deputies that her 78-year-old landlord became very agitated, started screaming at her, and then decided to wield a sword that had been hidden in his cane, telling her to get out of his house.
Yeah.
So 1 o'clock in the afternoon, this dude shows up, starts losing his temper, says, "Get out."
1 p.m. is a little early for swordplay. I
Yeah,
think.
exactly. It's kind of like cocktails, 5 o'clock.
Right.
You're civilized.
Well, she says...
Was he wearing a T-shirt that said it's 5 o'clock somewhere?
Probably. She said he was holding his cane. Next thing she knows, it's a sword. So it was one of those hidden ones.
Yeah, those are cool.
Did you
Cane
Did you
sword.
give me the one I have?
No.
Oh, I have one.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. They're not really like sharp, like you can't slice them. You can really, if you want to do damage, you have to poke with it.
Yeah.
But it's still cool. It's
I
still
think your
skin
mother-in-law did. She likes to give you weapons.
She does. Crazy woman.
So weird.
It's so weird.
Yeah, so this dude has a sword, has a cane, then all of a sudden he has a sword. She was able to call the police, and it turns out you can't threaten somebody with a sword that used to be a cane,
Really?
even in Florida. Oh, Florida.
All right.
Florida.
Hey, we've got music news in just a minute. Kurt Cobain's daughter has unveiled a new song, and we've got the audio. A pretty unusual update to the court sentencing of Bill Cosby. And a huge story about the future of hockey in Seattle, plus a big change just announced to the Seahawks. We will tell you about that. It's a big surprise. You'll find out in sports. Starting with some music news, we have long heard rumors that Kurt Cobain and Courtney Love's daughter, Frances Bean, would be coming out with her own music. Now, she has released a few clips on Instagram. One was an original song she posted back in June. She did post to Instagram a couple of clips of her singing a cappella, but now she has posted another one. And she wrote with the line, "What she lacks in technical precision, she makes up for with charisma." And it is a new original song. Would you like to hear it?
Is it original by her?
Yes.
Yeah, I'd love to hear it.
So you tried to let me in. That's nice. How's that going?
So there's a rumor.
Could you get Joan Baez on the phone and tell her somebody's stealing her act? What is that? And by the way, it's okay. I don't hate it.
Yeah, I like it.
But
I'd say
I'm not going to run out and buy it.
what she lacks in technical precision, she certainly makes up in charisma.
Is that what you think, really?
That's what I'd
Because I
say.
don't see her the charisma.
Did she write that review of herself? Because that's
Yes.
that's crazy.
That is exactly what.
Who does that?
I would, but because I suck on guitar, I play about this well, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
But I always say stuff what I lack in talent, I make up for, and whatever. It's just a joke that I see. So maybe she has a sense of humor. When your mom's Courtney Love and your dad shot himself in the head, you're bound to be funny.
Now, she just turned the phone on herself, and that's what it sounds like. So who knows when she actually goes into a studio and there's processing
I've
and
spent
help.
too much time being old. I didn't have any idea what you were talking about. She turned the phone on herself. I thought maybe she was mad and hit herself or something like that. What do you mean
No.
she turned the?
She's just
I get it.
recording
Yeah, I
herself,
didn't.
yeah.
I didn't get it. Yeah, it's not the
Selfie
end of the
mode.
world, but she's there. No, you know what? If she goes to play 300 to 500 seat theaters with that as an act, she'll sell them out with the last name Cobain. But
course.
nobody's gonna be buying any great records. But nobody's buying any records from the Lennon kids right now. The George Harrison's kid Danny couldn't look more like him, play better than he did, and he ain't selling records. The actors, the movie stars, their kids are becoming movie stars. The musician guys, their kids are becoming pains in my butt and putting out weird things on my radio show.
They need to hire better songwriters.
Yes, they do.
Celine Dion announced yesterday that her current residency at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas will end June 8th, 2019. She has been performing at Caesars Palace since March of 2011. So she's got a bunch more coming up next year, just 2 or 3 in February, a bunch in March, May, June, and then she wraps up June 8th.
And that's it.
And that's it.
Wow. She's been doing it for how long, did you say?
2011.
It even seems longer than that.
Yeah,
Seems
it
like
does.
she's just been there since it was desert.
But still, 7 years is a long
That's a
time.
lot of Celine Dion saying sorry.
And tickets go on sale Friday at 10 a.m., I would imagine, since she said this is ending.
Right.
This is going to be a hot ticket.
And by the way, not my kind, but spectacular voice.
Oh, yeah.
Just an amazing voice. Like Whitney Houston kind of skills, not
Yeah.
as cool.
Yesterday, Bill Cosby went to court, and as expected, nothing was rectified yesterday. They
Yeah,
said
I
it's,
didn't
did
expect that.
They said 2 days. So this is day 2 today. He has arrived at the Pennsylvania courtroom for day 2 of hearings, and once again, his wife was not with him. The court judge said that he has to rule first on whether or not to designate Cosby as a sexual violent predator under state law, and that changes something within the court process. So he's got to rule on that. Then he can actually hand down his ruling on whether or not he's going to jail.
You know, everybody is just hoping this guy will die before this happens. The judge doesn't want to sentence Dr. Huxtable. His lawyers don't want to. I think the prosecutor, whose job was to go after him, doesn't really want to watch him do the march in handcuffs. I think everybody's just hoping he'll go home and pass away in his sleep.
Well, Cosby's lawyers are asking for house arrest other than prison time, saying it's overly punitive given his age and his health issues. But the prosecutor said, yeah, under house arrest, he's been throwing parties and having a good old time. And yesterday...
Why, has he been under house arrest this whole time?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah. Yesterday, a state-appointed psychologist said he needs to be designated as a sexual predator because he, despite being 81, still has the propensity to commit more of these crimes. That's the state
That he's likely to
psychologist.
reoffend. Yeah.
Yes.
See, but I'm not the psychologist on the case, although I should be.
Yeah.
But he is 81, and they say he's blind, as a matter of fact. And his health, he appears to be in bad health. If he's 81 and blind, doesn't he have to have an assistant to reoffend?
He's legally blind. Meaning he can't drive. He can still see.
But how does he get to the
different-
victim's house?
Well, they said
Well, he
that
can't
it's-
leave his house. He's under house arrest,
Then
so
how's
they
he
have to
would
come
get,
to his house.
Right, so they have to come to his house, or somebody has to help him. And by the way, I'm not blaming anyone. This is Bill Cosby's fault, put him in jail. I'm just asking the question. So now somebody has to come to his house for him to reoffend. Isn't it easy to dodge a blind guy? I'll fight any blind guy.
if you're drugged, which is what he had.
Who's going to drink out of a glass in Bill Cosby's house?
Wouldn't think so.
Seriously. Mel Gibson has been set by Warner Brothers to direct a remake of The Wild Bunch. That was the 1969 classic Western. He'll be writing the script. He'll be directing it. In The Wild Bunch, an aging group of outlaws look for one last big score in the American West. And the original starred William Holden, Ernest Borgnine, and a whole slew of other famous folks.
This was a big movie when I was a kid. And I will say this without fear of correction. Kind of the only parenting my parents ever did was tell me I couldn't see The Wild Bunch.
Really?
There was just so much noise about how violent this was, and there's no way the kids can see this and stuff like that. And so I didn't see it till I was 11 when I was calling the shots in that same house.
Yeah.
Now, would you say that it is a very violent film?
It's a super violent movie. That one is an ultra violent movie. They didn't have the techniques that we have today to make things look more real. So I don't know how it would hold up. But yeah, it's crazy violent.
Mel Gibson also is doing Destroyer, which is a World War II drama that he'll direct. And Mark Wahlberg is in that one. So he does have a lot of projects in the works.
I got to go with good. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
He's a good actor.
He's a good actor. And,
Crazy pants.
Crazy. He's crazy. So therefore, by definition, innocent. If you really believe he's a crazy person, he doesn't know the difference between right and wrong. And here's what I'm going to do. I'll bury you in the rose bushes. If I had $1 for everybody I threatened to bury somewhere, I'd be a very wealthy man.
The newest deputy in Texas has a reputation for being mean and green.
Mm-hmm.
The Travis County Sheriff's Office has given a deputy designation to Lou Ferrigno.
Really?
He, of course, starred in The Incredible Hulk, the
You should
television
get together
series.
with Bill Cosby and do absolutely nothing about anything. Hey, you're blind. Hey, I'm deaf. Let's do a TV series.
1978 to 82, The Incredible Hulk was on TV, starring Lou Ferrigno, and he is being designated as a reserve deputy in this county. And they said he showed up and took pictures and
Yeah.
He did.
Sweet
Is he going
guy.
to show up and work? Like, is he going to do, like Steven Spielberg, Steven Seagal did that? Not Steven Spielberg, same guy.
Steven Seagal is now a Russian cop.
Yeah,
or
he is
something, isn't
now,
he? It's
but-
all craziness.
it was also
Shaquille O'Neal did that.
yes, and
But actually, they came in and, like, did, patrols and stuff
David
every
Lee
now
Roth
and again.
did it as an EMT.
Oh,
he
yeah,
actually
that's right,
was an
yeah.
EMT.
So did
You'd think
Bobby
Steven Spielberg
Sherman.
wouldn't need the money or the spotlight, but I thought his career
Eric
was going better.
Estrada.
Eric Estrada.
Oh,
totally,
yeah. He needs the money and the spotlight.
Yeah.
Although the last time I Googled his net worth, he was doing all right.
He's doing okay?
Yeah, I think.
Maybe being a deputy pays better than you think, Danny.
It doesn't pay $20 million, whatever I think he had.
Oh,
like 12 or
He
something.
did
Yeah.
well then.
How much money does Eric Estrada have? Do you know there, Derek?
Like 20 million. Yeah.
Are you aware that you're actually part of this show?
Great answer.
Eric Estrada.
Yeah, don't worry, Derek. Sarah will get that.
$4 million
There we
down.
go.
It dropped in the past minute. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
He lost 16 million.
We've all done it.
A puppet technician with a Broadway production of The Lion King has been busted for using a 3D printer in the theater. You know, they're making props and stuff.
Right, sure.
To 3D print a gun. Somebody found the puppeteer was in the process of printing a handgun. They walk in, they're like, what are you doing there? That looks like a gun you're using that 3D printer for. And police arrived at the scene, and he is now facing charges because you can't use your work 3D printer to print a gun.
I think there'll be an interesting defense on this because here's my defense without knowing anything about it. When does it actually become a gun? Did the guy find him at the point where it could have been just taken out and fired? That's a gun. Or is it part of a gun? Because it doesn't print a whole gun. It prints portions of a gun at once that you assemble. So I think this guy's going to have a pretty good defense that it was never a gun.
He was charged with attempted criminal possession of a firearm. And as you can imagine, he'll lose his job because you're misusing work
Yeah.
equipment. He said he couldn't use his own because his workshop was too dusty.
To make guns.
There's been a lot of Joker news this week. Photos of images of Joaquin Phoenix have surfaced of him in his makeup, and he looks so creepy. Jared Leto is, of course, he did the Suicide Squad, and now we're finding out a little bit more about Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn standalone. They said the whole thing will start with Harley Quinn kidnapping Dr. Phil, played by Dr. Phil, hopefully, because her and the Joker are having problems with their relationship.
Super funny. And isn't
Yeah.
Dr. Phil in Saw? Or one of the Saws?
Was
or
he?
maybe the comedy Saw.
Oh, I have no idea. The
Because everybody
comedy
did a
Saw?
really, they did a spoof.
Oh, okay.
Oh, one of the like scary
Yeah,
movie.
I think
movies.
Dr. Phil is in it. So he's got a good sense of, well, you wouldn't know from being on the show a couple of times. He seemed
Really?
like quite the ass. But, he's got a job to do. But yeah, he showed up in those movies.
It would be weird if they kidnapped Dr. Phil played by someone other than
Yeah.
Dr. Phil.
I don't think that would work out.
Oh, get the coach of the Lakers. Isn't that who it is? He used to be the coach
Phil
of the
Knight?
Bulls.
Phil
the
Knight?
Zen guy.
Yeah,
Yeah. Wouldn't that be cool? Dr. Phil.
sure. He looks nothing like him. but-
Exactly. That would be the point.
Confused.
That would be funny.
Let's take a look at sports.
Sports!
Sports brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys. If you're facing a DUI, call 1-800-DUI-AWAY. News. We have some really big Seattle hockey news, but we are going to start with giving you a chance to hit a baseball game on us. If you were at last night's Mariners game at Safeco Field, they played the Oakland A's. If you were there, you need to start calling us right now to tell us the song that played during Mariners KZOK Music Trivia. The first person to correctly tell us will win tickets to an upcoming game. Derek, what will they win?
Tickets for the game on Friday night at 7:10 p.m. versus the Texas Rangers, which just happens to be Fan Appreciation Night.
Fan Appreciation Night.
Call right now, 800-252-1025. So the Mariners, in losing to the Oakland A's, the A's have clinched their playoff spot. They play the A's again today. Mike Leake versus Brett Anderson with a 7:10 start time on Root Sports. Yesterday, some big Mariners news that had nothing to do with actual play. Felix Hernandez became a U.S. citizen. He, along with 85 other candidates, were at the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Office.
But he was the one surrounded by cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the people just want a green card or whatever they get when they become citizens, and all of a sudden, you would just think ICE is totally showing up here. I'm sure it's a trick to get me here.
He's a native of Venezuela. He passed his citizenship interview and is now an American citizen.
Well, I will tell you this. He poses certainly no threat to the United States. I think he's great. He had a big smile, all happy. But if I had to rate him on the national anthem, he didn't know one word. And they had a camera on him, and he didn't look, he moved his lips a little bit, but you know when a guy moves his lips to a song he doesn't know, you can still totally tell.
Yeah.
Just tiny little lip movements. But then, it's like, So what? He doesn't know the song. Okay, bring him in. He's rich. He'll pay taxes. He plays the American pastime, for God's sakes, but he does not know the Star Spangled Banner.
In his defense, I have seen that exact same video with our current president of the United States.
That's true.
Doesn't know the
And
words to the national
You think
anthem.
comparing him to Trump is somehow his defense? No, I don't know, man.
He did admit that he failed the citizenship test the first time.
Who?
Felix Hernandez.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah,
so
he did. Yeah, I saw
his
that.
wife actually got her citizenship a few months ago because she passed the test the first time,
Oh, honey.
and he didn't pass it the first time.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations.
Second time's a charm.
Well, it's weird. Welcome to America, gazillionaire.
Right.
I told you I ran into his car collection by accident.
That's
One time.
right.
I was walking through where the hell was I? The,
Safeco Field?
Safeco Field parking lots, and I got a little bit lost. And all of a sudden, I'm by all these Rolls Royces and stuff like that. And the guy said, "Oh yeah, those are King Felix's cars."
He's doing all right.
Yeah, he's doing all right. Welcome to America. We're bitching.
Last night, Monday Night Football, the Steelers beat the Bucks 30-27. Exciting game. Fitzmagic almost pulled it off, but didn't. And the Steelers won 30-27. Surprising news from the Seahawks. President Peter McLaughlin is leaving the organization. Tacoma native Chuck Arnold will take over as new president. Arnold has been with the franchise for 25 years, serving as chief operating officer. McLaughlin will leave his role of CEO of Vulcan Sports and Entertainment as well. That job will now be filled by Portland Trailblazers president Chris McGowan. He'll keep his job with the Trailblazers. So he had been hired back in 2010, came to Seattle after working for the St. Louis Blues, and we have a new president of the Seahawks.
Yeah, got it. Nice.
But that one, Peter McLaughlin, he's been fairly successful. Went to a couple of Super Bowls. Yeah, he was doing a pretty decent job.
Yeah. But he's been there long enough, right? There's no bad blood. He's not being chased
I
out.
haven't the faintest idea why he is leaving.
Well,
No
therefore,
clue.
then, as far as we know, there's no bad blood. Nothing bad happened.
I mean, like I said, no, we have no idea. They just made this announcement without really any explanation. It was one of those, thanks for all that you've done. You did a good job.
Why'd they do it
Why,
like
yeah.
a robot? That doesn't.
Doesn't
Because
make
it
a
was
lot of
such
sense.
it's such one of those statements that it could have just
Oh, just
fill in the blank.
boilerplate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what a boilerplate sounds like?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't actually know what the term boilerplate
even know
means
what that
entirely.
meant.
Like I think that was the right time to
I was
use
just going to
it.
go with it because you're my pal. What the hell? Yeah, boilerplate weirdness.
I don't know what
it's
it
a boilerplate,
sounds like,
Not
but-
a boiler room.
Yeah.
In a monumental step towards NHL expansion, the Seattle City Council yesterday voted in favor of the new Seattle Center Arena project. The $700 million renovation of the arena will get underway this fall under the management of Tim Lewicki and the Oakview Group. And this was a big vote needed to move forward. And now we go to the NHL and say, we are ready.
Yeah, and we sold all those tickets. It's just, I realize that it's in our own best interest, but it just sounds so much like begging. No, we're ready. We did that weird thing where people bought tickets that don't exist to
Yeah.
a team that doesn't exist and doesn't live here yet, and a stadium that really doesn't exist because we'll build it someday. Thanks, please.
It's what you have to do.
It's what you have to do. I
Yeah.
realize it. When I was a young man, I said all those same words, but it was trying to get sex. Please, I swear to God, this is really important. I love you so much. But yeah, I don't love the begging part, but I'll love going to the games.
It
Yeah.
seems super weird that we just had that vote yesterday because I thought all of this was a done deal. Like they were going to start construction already.
Yeah.
They certainly had all the plans laid out, but
They
it
made
turns
it seem
out
like it.
the city council had not voted on it.
Yep.
Not as a whole. They had voted as a committee, but not the whole city council.
Yep. And what's official now, and the Lewicki brothers will present their case to the NHL October 2nd in New York. And then the NHL Board of Governors will vote on the expansion in early December. So this is super exciting. We'll find out more. They don't have to give us a yes or no answer in December, but they could.
No, and,
Fingers
you know,
crossed.
all these things are, there's no ignoring Seattle. You know, it's funny because I've lived all over this country and I've had very little pride in the towns I've lived in, more than the next. They just seem all like, Seattle's a city to be reckoned with, man. Why don't we have, it's crazy that there are little bitty silly towns that have things that we want. We're
Yeah.
Seattle, man. We got Bezos dancing on a string. Nobody ever leaves. Here we got Gates. Everybody loves it here. We got all sorts of money. The median price for a house is $1 gazillion. Bring us some teams.
And yet, Sacramento, California,
Right.
Oklahoma City have NBA teams.
Those
and
would
we
be
do
the
not.
little goofy towns I was talking
Right,
about.
yeah.
A little girl's rendition of the national anthem has gone viral. Everybody loving Malia's rendition.
Oh, I'd like to go on record as saying not everyone.
7 years old. This was at the LA Galaxy Sounders match over the weekend.
You would normally think it takes more than 7 years to get that terrible, but I'll give her that.
She was good, man.
She was okay. Why is she on my national news 3 times? She's an
You need to
okay.
change the channel.
All 7-year-olds. I did, and there she was.
Yeah.
This story's really gone viral. 25,000 fans at StubHub Center in Los Angeles, 3'9", 40 pounds. And they said the ending is where she really killed it.
Pretty powerful for 7 years old.
I'm sorry. That's what I wanted you to hear. What's that?
The national anthem.
Christina Aguilera does it.
Growls?
Yes.
Yes. No, it's horrendous. Hang on. She'll growl. It's the star, baby. All right, that was pretty good. I'll give you that. That was made. Those notes aren't.
She killed it, man.
Let me hear if the growling happens again, because I hate the growling. That might have been flat out amazing right there. But that doesn't make no.
7 years old.
Yeah, no. 10 seconds. What's that? Stop doing that. Your parents should be arrested.
Awesome. She
Her
killed
parents should be arrested.
She's
She
pretty
should be
incredible,
arrested.
man.
Growl. Can
7 years
Jelly
old.
Bean sing?
Yeah, she likes to
Does
sing.
she know the words of the national anthem?
She does,
Oh,
yeah.
let's get her on all 3 networks. And by the way, I think your daughter is amazing. She does jokes here on the radio. It takes a certain level of skill to be funny every day. We don't know that, but it's true. I just don't think she was anything special to be flaunted around like that, growling like that, teaching her that kind of swag. You know, that's the moment in her life. And now it all goes downhill. And she's 7.
I love my daughter, but there's no way she could sing like that. And she's more about the
No.
stage presence, and she would be adorable. But once
Does
she would
make
get
up, what
shined
is
for
it?
all
Make
those
up for the
people.
lack of
For what,
talent. and-
Paul?
What's that?
What were you saying? I couldn't hear you.
That it's the stage presence, and she'd be adorable, but she wouldn't
Right.
be able to sing like that.
Well, then I think according to what's that girl's name, Courtney Love's kid, that it's all in how it's all in the panache.
Oh, the
stage
charisma,
presence.
yeah.
Anyway, I just thought it was overrated and sad that little kid's never going to live up to that moment again. It's just too early when you're 7 years old to have the peak when you're okay at best.
Congratulations to Jennifer in Tacoma. She was at the Mariners game yesterday. Knew the song was Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses. Jennifer in Tacoma is going to the Jeep winners window in our lobby to pick up tickets to what, Derek?
Tickets for the game on Friday night at 7:10 versus the Texas Rangers, which just happens to be Fan Appreciation Night.
Fan Appreciation Night.
The Mariners celebrate the best fans in baseball at Fan Appreciation Night. All fans take home a team poster, plus there will be prizes, surprises, and more throughout the night. Then don't miss the final fireworks night of the season as they celebrate the best fans in baseball. The Mariners have partnered with Pyro Spectaculars, who produced the New Year's Eve at the Space Needle extravaganza. Visit mariners.com/fireworks for more information.
Thank you. All right, the Mariners are at home tonight against the Oakland Athletics with a 7:10 start time on Root Sports. So your next chance to win tickets will be tomorrow morning right around this same time. And Sports This Morning brought to you by Bradley Johnson Attorneys at 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
That's 1-800-DUI-AWAY. If you get a DUI, DUI-AWAY, that is the number to meet you in Seattle, Everett, or Tacoma. So if the unfortunate happens to you and you do get a DUI, don't delay. Call 1-800-DUI-AWAY. That's 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
Hey, I want to remind you guys that Money for Nothing is back here on KZOK 13 times a day. You've got a shot to win $1,000. You're listening for the keyword. You text it to 200-200 and you could be our winner. Your next chance at Money for Nothing right around the corner, 7:10 this morning. Album following in her parents' footsteps. Now, like her or hate her, Courtney Love had a very successful music career with her band Hole.
I loved Hole. I thought Hole was great.
I thought they were very good. And Nirvana, I mean, speaks for itself. It's a lot to live up to. You know, when you have a parent that is super successful, you don't want to necessarily follow in their footsteps.
Right.
Wayne Gretzky's kid played baseball. Like, can you really play hockey if your dad is Wayne Gretzky? That's tough.
Well, I don't know, because maybe the question is he can't really play hockey. A lot of these people trying to follow in their dad's footsteps are going in off the fame, and they can't, and charisma, but can't really do the job mommy and daddy did.
Right. And
Judy Garland's kids are all a train wreck as far as I'm concerned, and that includes Liza Minnelli.
Right. That she has been successful as a singer, but she's a terrible singer.
She's a terrible singer. I don't know how. Is it some kind of joke that I'm not in on?
Well, and a lot of kids do try to follow in their parents' footsteps. They're sometimes successful, sometimes not. Like you were just talking about the Beatles kids.
Yeah.
They all have a modicum of success.
And they all have a modicum of talent, and some even have a real talent. Because I have to go home to my wife, so I'm going to say this right now. Apparently, Sean Lennon, whoo, what a talent, man.
Yeah, they're talented, but they're not their parents.
No, they are not their parents, and
Yeah.
very few people can be their parents. Didn't Tom Hanks' kids try and follow in his
Yeah.
footsteps and end up going, you know what, maybe I should be a DJ or a rapper or something silly.
One of his kids is a successful actor.
Yeah, Colin Hanks.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yep. And then the other one is a not so successful rapper. Well, Danny, if you were to follow in your parents' footsteps,
Successful writer, although my dad wrote situation comedies. I can imagine there's things that are harder, but I don't know how to do it. I can't do it funny on paper within every 30 seconds. I don't know how he did it. And what a super unpleasant guy to be that good at it. But I would be a really good writer if I was going to follow my dad's footsteps.
and at one point you might also work with a zoo, right?
Yeah.
Handling animals.
Well, I handle animals now.
Well, you guys listening, if you were to follow in your parents' footsteps, what would your career be? Let us know. 800-252-1025 or text in 90627.
All right, we were talking about this morning. Frances Bean Cobain, who I root for, by the way. What a tough little line. I know she's rich, but that's not everything. Anyway, Frances Bean Cobain working on a new album, following her daddy's footsteps and her mommy's footsteps, really. So if you were to follow in your parents' footsteps, what would your career be? Here's the phone number to call, 1-800-252-1025 or text at 90627.
We'll start with KZOK in Seattle.
What up, Kozak?
How's it going?
It's all good. What do you got?
Well, if I was to follow in my mom's footsteps, I'd be a hoarder. I think that's the only thing she does.
That's what she does?
Yeah, but she just collects stuff all day long.
Yeah, she's a collector.
She's a collector. That's a better way to go.
Connoisseur.
You know, next time you say that about your mom, you might want to say that word faster. What would I be if I was my mom? I'd be a hoarder. Yeah, you need to be careful.
800-252-1025. If you were to follow in your parents' footsteps, what would your career be? Good morning, Drama in Renton.
Hey, drama.
Hey, good morning, y'all.
What's happening?
If I was to follow in my mother's footsteps, I'd be a postal worker.
A
Now,
postal worker.
Was she the kind that went door to door delivering the mail or inside the big warehouse?
Yeah, she works in the Priority Mail Annex.
Because I got to tell you, man, I hope you're nice to your mommy. Because, I mean, I don't know what version of this she does, but I live at the top of ridiculously steep hills. And I see my mail guy walking around with a big bag of mail, like blocks and blocks from my house. And I see his cars in front of my house. He walked down there and he's going to walk back up there. You know, I waved to him and stuff, but that's rough.
I wonder how it works because my postal worker is driving around in a truck and
Yeah.
just walks into the apartment buildings and puts them all into the slots and leaves in his truck. Like, did he draw the long straw and the guy in your neighborhood's drawing the short straw?
Yeah, you know what? I don't know, but you walk into an apartment building, he parks the thing, but I don't know what he does next. I would imagine he walks up and down to all, he doesn't retry and park that thing. He goes to all the apartments. So either way, the guy on the street with the sack full of mail's got to be a hassle.
Jeremiah in Seattle, if you were to follow in your parents' footsteps, what would your career be?
Hey, Jeremiah.
Good morning, sunshine.
Morning, sweetheart. What do you got?
Engineer. He was an engineer for 40 years with the railroad.
Oh, that kind of engineer. That's
Cool.
Like
You get
wearing
to
the cool
wear
outfit. Yeah.
I am not positive, you guys.
The
that
bib overalls.
That they, at least currently, really wear striped overalls and a
yes,
funny
they
hat.
do.
Like,
Oh, they have to.
Like Choo Choo Charlie.
How would you know that
Choo
it's the
Choo
engineer?
Charlie was an engineer. And that's the other
Jeremiah,
part of
did
that
your
I know.
dad wear the outfit?
Oh, yeah, he was Choo-Choo Charlie all the way.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Right, that is nice. Thanks, Jeremiah.
If you were to follow in your parents' footsteps, what would your career be? Because not all of us had Kurt Cobain and Courtney Love as our parents.
Yeah, very
to
few
follow
of
in
us,
those
really.
those footsteps.
I certainly didn't.
Not me either.
800-252-1025. If you followed in your parents' footsteps, what would your career be? Let's talk to Doug in Mount Lake Terrace.
Hey, Doug.
Good morning, Danny and Sarah, everybody. Yeah, my father, he was a fantastic seaman.
Yeah. Was your seaman father, was he in the Navy or a merchant marine?
Well, yes, he was a merchant marine, and he ended up working for the Washington State Ferries for 25 years.
Oh, that's
but
cool.
That's a
you'd
good paying
never,
job.
you'd never know working on the modern day boats, but at home, he knew all the knots. I mean, he was a wood carver. He was just a handy craftsman, and it was just phenomenal, all the stuff he could do.
I
That's
like
very
it that
cool.
Doug is bragging about his dad, so I'm going to enhance that for him. When I took my skipper's test for the ASA, the American Sailing Association,
Yeah.
only thing I failed was knots. You
They're
have to like to
hard.
be a real
Oh,
live
it's tough,
sailor. You have to be
yeah.
able to do those knots. You don't tie them to anything. You don't have to do anything with them. You just have to tie them in a line.
Yeah.
And I, after months of practicing, I still failed that one.
I told you, my dad gave my brother shore school, and I flunked out. I couldn't do any of those knots either. To this day, I can't tie knots. Super hard.
From the text line at 90627, my mom was a performer with the Ringling Brothers Circus back in the 70s, so I'd probably be with Cirque du Soleil today.
Oh, that's
Oh,
cool.
that'd be. You know what? It's got to be a grind, but a neat grind.
Yep.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the things you have to do while you're super young and healthy. I just went and saw the Cirque du Soleil here, a Volt or whatever it was. The stuff that just the physical strength,
Yep.
aside from the skill, the physical strength that stuff must take.
And
Another
your parents
listener,
in great shape.
yeah, another listener says I'd be an accomplished pilot. My father flew for 35 years for Pan American and United, and was also a colonel in the Air Force.
Oh, dig that.
A lot of cool
super
parents.
Yeah.
And another texter says if I were to follow in my mother's footsteps, I would be a nun.
Whoa. How'd that work?
Yeah.
Yeah,
how'd
how did that
work? Well, nuns are either allowed to quit or,
Yeah.
interesting enough, you can go in, like you can get touched by God or whatever it is that makes you join the
After.
monastery or whatever it is after. You can get a
Yeah.
divorce. You can be a lot of things
Sure,
and
yeah.
still become a nun, I believe.
And I think some kids back in the olden days, mom was sent to the convent because she was with child.
A mom. Yeah, that's exactly right. I'll
Joe-
tell you, if I followed in my mom's footsteps, I'd be a cabaret singer and entertainer.
Yeah.
And my mom had her last cabaret at 90 and
Amazing.
sold it out. And it was on Hollywood Boulevard. There's a lot of choices on Hollywood Boulevard of where you're going to spend your money, from renting human beings, buying drugs, see 1,000 shows. My 90-year-old mom sold out, turned people away.
So cool.
So you
cool.
are kind of following in your mother's footsteps.
I'm actually following in my grandfather's footsteps. He did
He was
this
a busker?
actual thing.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, he did this actual thing, and that's when he got to be the head of the radio station and hired Dick Clark and Ed McMahon.
Wow.
So, yeah.
But you want to be a busker. You want to go sing in restaurants.
Yeah.
In a way, you are following in your mom's footsteps, too.
Absolutely.
Joe in Lake Stevens, good morning.
Hey, a foggy Tuesday. What's on?
What's up,
up?
Joe and Lake Stevens?
Yeah, I would end up being a state certified welder.
You know,
Following in my dad's
Maniac.
worse things could happen, Joe. Welders
Pays
make a
well.
lot of dough and have access to tanks of nitrous oxide. So I think it's good
It's a
all the way around.
win-win.
It's a win-win, exactly.
Gibbons, who worked here a long time ago, his mom was a welder.
Oh, yeah.
She was a bit of a badass.
And now she's like the head of security for several concert venues.
Yep.
Yep. That's
Walks
true.
in, she walked Bruce Springsteen in pretty much arm in arm.
Yeah.
Hangs out with everybody. I mean, from
Childish
rappers
Gambino.
to, yeah, you name it. Don and Stanwood, if you were to follow in your parents' footsteps, what would your career be?
Good morning, you people. How
What
are
do you
you?
mean, you people?
Hey, I actually did follow in my parents' footsteps. My father retired from LA City Fire Department as a chief officer after 28 years of service, and I didn't know it, but once I decided at age of 19, I fell in love with it. Now I've been in the fire service, and I'm a chief officer with 30 years service.
Wow.
And my daughters are both joining as well. They're both fire explorers.
Oh,
That's
that is-
so cool.
That is super cool. And here's how you can tell that I'm growing old. I hear all this. Normally, you should say, "Thank you for your service. Your dad's a hero." All this stuff. All I can think is 28 years. Wow, what a pension your dad must have gotten.
I don't think I could ever follow in my parents' footsteps. My dad was a neurophysiologist who did a lot of experiments on monkey brains.
Right?
So I don't see myself ever doing experiments on monkey brains.
Because you won't, or because you can't.
They were alive.
There's a level. Wow.
They
There's a
were alive
level
when he
of
did the
education
experiments.
involved in torturing monkeys that I don't think any of us have reached.
Yeah, he's a doctor, but there's something about like when I would go to his lab and see all the monkeys that were sitting in their little cage things with their brains exposed. Yeah, I was like, I'm not following in your footsteps. Not happening. Paul, if you followed in your parents' footsteps, would you be a bank robber?
No. I was supposed to follow in my dad's footsteps, I think, and take over the locksmith business. But at an early age, probably middle school, he realized it's not smart to teach me how to pick locks
Right.
and open up cars and
I
stuff
had
like
a
that.
locksmith, Chris Burmaster and Roger Burman. Roger, who lives around here somewhere and listens to the show.
Yeah.
Their dad was a locksmith and owned a big company, had vans with their names on it.
Yeah.
And no matter how much I'd beg, they would not teach me how to open doors.
Yeah, he was fine with me working in the shop, cutting keys, even rekeying locks. But when it came out to going out in the field and like actually essentially breaking into things,
Right.
he said, nope, let's not teach that kid that.
And Tori, if you were to follow in your parents' footsteps, what would your career be?
I'd be a director of IT, information technology, if I was my dad, or a domestic goddess, if I was my mom.
Wow.
I like the title.
Well said.
Yeah.
Derek,
Isn't that what's her name, Roseanne was?
Well, I don't know.
Domestic
I thought
goddess?
she was an
Wasn't that her
actress.
whole bit? That's
I
her,
don't know.
her comedy thing. That's how she got started, I
Yeah.
think. So it's a good call that she'll do well.
Derek, if you were to follow in your parents' footsteps, what would your career be?
Nursing, which I'm glad I didn't because I'm way too squeamish.
Yeah, I can see that. Besides, I just had a nurse give me an exam that older cats get. You don't want to do that, man. I know. Even she didn't look like she was having fun.
Oh.
Hey, thanks for all the calls and texts. It is now time to play Thunder, Birds, or Rockets.
Thunder, birds, or rockets.
0.5 KZOK, where we are playing Thunder, Birds, or Rockets. That's right, baby. Hockey is back. We've got your chance to win a pair of tickets to watch the Seattle Thunderbirds take on the Kelowna Rockets next Saturday night at the SSO Showwear Center. In order to win, you'll have to correctly identify if the song from Danny's Clue is a thunder song,
A thunder song.
a bird song,
A bird song.
or a rocket song.
Rocket song.
We'll start with Kevin in historic Kent.
Hey, Kevin, how the hell are you?
Morning, how you, Danny?
Very well, thanks for asking. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Sure do.
And do you understand the rules of the game?
Yes, sir.
Then let's get to it, Kev. Oh, I called him Kev. We're pals. Here we go. This thunder, bird, or rocket song first appeared on the 1972 album Honky Chateau. The album title is, I'm a little uncomfortable even saying it, but it's apparently named after the 18th century French chateau where it was recorded. This hit single charted at number 2 in the UK and number 6 in the US. And I don't think it's going to be a long, long time for you to tell us, is it a thunder song, a bird song, or a rocket song?
That would be a rocket song, Rocket Man by Mr. Elton John.
Okay,
Yes.
admit it, my singing gave you that answer, Kev.
I have to admit it, and I wanted to correct myself. That's Sir Elton John.
That
Yes.
is Sir.
And
Elton.
Sir Danny Bonaduce with the vocals there.
Kev's a good caller. We like you, Kev.
Nice job, Kevin. You have won yourself a pair of tickets for the Seattle Thunderbirds versus the Kelowna Rockets next Saturday night at the SSO Showwear Center. You'll pick up your prize at the Jeep Winners window in our lobby. We'll have another chance for you guys to win tomorrow at 7:20. And up next, the big news of the day.
And it is all brought to you by Goldberg Jones Divorce for Men. Call 1-800-DIVORCE or go online to goldbergjones.com.
Well, to compete with ultra low-cost carriers like Spirit and Frontier, the country's largest airlines have had to overcome some fare issues. And now Alaska Airlines, who are the nation's 5th biggest carrier, plan to join their rivals like Delta, United, and American, launching basic economy fares. These will be very restrictive. You cannot change your reservation. You cannot pick your seats. You cannot upgrade. And on Alaska, you will be the last person to board. You will likely get a middle seat. They will all be in the back of the plane, but they will be cheaper.
And, well, you know what? What are you going to say about that, really? It's a good deal. If you don't want to, if you don't want to sit in the middle, if you don't want to not check a bag, blah, 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 don't fly. You know, flying, it's not a right, is it?
No, it's not a right.
It's not a right. We don't have the right to. We have to have a job, and we have to pay our taxes, and we have to say, hey, I want to go to Cleveland because I don't have any common sense. It's what, $1,200 or $300, whatever it is to get to Cleveland. Yeah, you have to pay or shut up. Or take the bus. I've taken the bus across country once. It was fascinating.
Well, Alaska Airlines said they're going to call it a saver fare, and they're going to try to make theirs a little bit better, that at some of these ticket prices, you will be able to pick a seat.
Yeah, be able to pick your friend's seat, which is weird. I thought they had rules against that.
Yeah.
You know, for people who travel a decent amount, the worst part is if you can't pick your seat and you have a long flight and you're in a middle seat.
Right.
Somebody has to sit in the middle seat, though.
Absolutely.
You can't just leave it empty.
And, this is the only thing that Amy and I we don't argue about because I won this, I feel. And that almost never happens in a marriage. Like, you had a big argument and there's a clear winner.
Yeah.
What usually happens is there's two angry people that don't feel any better about anything. But in life, we do what Amy wants because I like it that way. It's not like I'm a battered husband or anything. We eat kind of the food she wants. We go to Liverpool because she likes the Beatles, blah, 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 blah. We got on a plane one day a few years ago, and we had two seats, one window, one middle. And I said, get out of my chair. She goes, no, you flew next to the window last time. You have the middle this time. I said, oh, no. I bought this seat. I'm giving you that seat. We will not. And she yelled at me for another year that she got the window seat sometime. But I say, nay. It's all me all the time.
Because she's lucky that she just gets to fly with you.
Now, as horrible as you make that sound, yeah.
Yeah.
What was she going to do?
Book her own ticket and fly? Well, she probably booked your ticket, right?
She does, and she pays for it with the same credit card, and it says Dante right on it.
Matt and I sometimes will fly aisle.
Right, I think that's a great way to go.
Yeah.
I think it's a great way to go.
Well, a bill to fund the Federal Aviation Administration is due for a congressional vote this week that may change the way we all fly. They want to have more consumer protections for airline travelers.
Like wear a condom?
Including the regulation of airline seating.
Oh, that's different.
They want the seats to be regulated so that they can't be itty-bitty. Now, there are concerns of things like pulmonary embolisms. There are health issues that can arise from seats that are too small or you can't stretch your legs out.
And this is all coming from the itty-bitty witty committee, if I remember correctly.
The Federal Aviation Administration.
Same thing.
People,
Same thing.
They don't want itty-bitty seats.
Well, they shouldn't have, what are they, like 19 seats across? If you measure any American's butt, first of all, they put up a little fight. But if you, they're like 25 inches across, American butts.
Yeah, I don't
we got
know.
some decent butts.
I don't know if the seats are getting smaller, but our butts are definitely
getting larger. And by the way, as long as we're still talking about airplanes, let me go back to the wife never getting the window seat. That came out wrong. If we fly where there's only two seats, so there's an aisle and a window, and that's it, there's no middle, she gets the window every single time because I don't care. Just want to make that clear that she does get the window. So she'll stop whining.
I'm sure that'll do it.
As I said it, I thought, don't say it.
Ugly holiday sweaters have totally taken over the holiday season. There are ugly sweater parties. There's the ugliest sweater contest. Celebrity designers like Whoopi Goldberg, all about the ugly holiday sweater. And now the sweater is getting a Halloween makeover. You can now buy ugly Halloween sweaters. They have skeletons, pumpkins, vampires, witches, and they look just like what I described. It's an ugly holiday sweater, but the holiday happens to be
I want
Halloween.
a ugly holiday sweater party, and I want to whine and complain. What a stupid thing. Do you guys have no lives? And my problem is I don't own an ugly sweater, nor do I have friends. I would love to go to an ugly sweater
You want to be
party.
part of it, just nobody invited you.
Yeah, nobody's letting me come to the party. I got the sweater, or I'll go and get it.
Yeah.
How do you not have the Seahawks ugly sweater?
I didn't know there was an ugly Seahawks.
Oh, yeah, a couple years ago, the NFL jumped on. And
I have a fairly ugly Seahawks jacket with the.
No, that's a great jacket,
It is
man.
a great jacket, but it's got some fashion issues.
Yeah.
But yeah, a couple years ago, the NFL said, all right, we'll do it. And I think they've got them now for hockey. I don't think they have them for baseball, but it's your team's logo, really ugly with a holiday motif.
As long as somebody's inviting me, I'm wearing.
Well, Scrabble players, you might want to get yourself the latest official Scrabble players dictionary because yesterday they freshened it up. They do this every few years. And there are always some people who are not happy with the additions.
Usually I'm one of those people. I'm happy with some of them, but not happy with all.
And are you one of the people that would actually look it up? You challenge somebody's word?
Gazillion should not be in the dictionary. I don't think. And irregardless, totally shouldn't. And they put it in.
Not.
They put it in.
Really?
I lost a bet on it because I said there's not a chance in the world that irregardless is in the dictionary. And we looked it up, and it said sick and or slang.
Yeah.
But it was still there.
Yeah.
Well, and it depends on what you want to use as words. Like that is not a word that they've just added irregardless because so many people misspoke and said instead of saying irrespective. But they're starting to add words that, I don't know, as a Scrabble player, I don't approve of. Like za, Z-A, they finally approved for pizza. Nobody calls it za.
I have a place near my house that has that on their sign. I didn't know. I thought it was a guy's name or something.
Oh, no.
It's a
Somebody
place
calls it za, otherwise they wouldn't have put it in.
It's a place where you kind of build your own pizza and then you heat it up at home. And it says za right on the sign.
That
I
one
didn't
is
know what it meant.
Z-A-W. The slang for pizza is Z-A.
Yeah.
What they have also approved is OK, O and the letter K. Technically, the word is O-K-A-Y, but not anymore. They've also put in twerk.
Yeah. I guess that makes sense. It's a thing people do. It's a shameful thing people do.
Makes more sense than za.
Especially, and these people seem to do it the best. And when I say these people,
what do you mean, these people?
I mean big people. People with over 50 pounds in the caboose.
Yeah.
And they just get down and it's nasty looking.
Yowza, macaron.
Not enough for you to stop watching over and over and over again.
It's not on that site, mister.
Oh, really? Are you sure?
Zomboid, puggle. These are some of the words that have now been added to the Scrabble.
Puggle? What's puggle mean?
It's a pug and it's a dog, right?
It's a dog.
But a pug and a beagle.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say a pug and a bugle, and then I realized the bugle's not a dog. It's a delicious snack.
That it's not only against Webster, but it's also against God. A pug and a beagle?
Puggle, yeah.
How dare you?
Puggle.
Take two of the most annoying dogs
And make one
mix them
annoying
together.
dog out of it.
An Indiana man is facing charges after pistol whipping his lifelong friend during an argument over Bruno Mars.
Oh, okay.
71-year-old Roger Washburn was taken into custody. He and his best buddy hanging out, and they got into a fight over a song and who performed it.
Yeah.
The victim said, "This is Bruno Mars." Washburn said, "Oh, hell no, it's not." They got into an argument that ended with a gun.
All right. That's when the guy looked at the other guy and said, Uptown Funk gonna give it to you. And smacked him right in the head and said, my gun's name is Uptown Funk. That's what I think happened.
That's the big news of the day, which is brought to you by Goldberg Jones. Divorce for Men, 1-800-DIVORCE or online, goldbergjones.com.
Oh, man, there's more coming right up at Sarah's Filthy Forecast.
It's not every morning you get to wake up with a big ball overhead. Oh, yesterday was glorious. I made pina coladas. I sunbathed with you-know-who, Vanessa. She rubs it out good. Oh, that suntan lotion is all over. She also makes a hard-hitting cocktail.
I bet she does.
Delicious. Sunny and 66 today. Anyone want to join us outdoors?
Sure, of course.
The heat's going to stay right on top of us, going around and around. We're always up for a good stiff drink in the sun. I'll wrap my hands around it for you. Join me next time for another forecast.
That wasn't even
Sometimes
veiled.
I don't even fully understand, and I like it.
With the best weather friend in Seattle, I'm Sarah.
Well, that is our little Sarah's Filthy Forecast right there. And by the way, you're listening to KZOK. Why do I tell you that? Because we're doing the Money for Nothing game, and it is back. It's not even a game. You just call in and win or text it when you've got 13 chances every single day to win money right here. Just listen for the key word. It happens all the time, 10, 13 times a day. Then you text that name or number to or word to 200. Your next chance to win is right around the corner at 8:10. I'm going to very carefully tell you about the iHeartRadio app. It's all your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free of charge. You can put us in your pocket, take us with you everywhere you go. It's KZOK. You got our daily podcast, our show. You'll enjoy it. Listen on your phone, on your laptop, 200 other devices. Get it all at the iHeartRadio app.
Rihanna has been named the Ambassador Extraordinary for Barbados. And we know she's got a lot of... wears a lot of hats, but ambassador...
Good, cover up that giant forehead.
She's a designer. She is a successful actress and singer, and she's from Barbados and now has been named Ambassador Extraordinary. And I don't know what that even means.
No, and whatever she does, you think it'd be extraordinary. Hang on one second. I recorded something for you.
Barbados.
That's your phone telling us how to pronounce the word Barbados?
This is off. I recorded it yesterday, and it's off now. I don't think that you're wrong, but this is off nativespeaker.com. I just wanted to, some of us say Barbados and some of us say Barbados.
I pronounce
and
it like
some of us
Rihanna
say
does.
Balooba-dapa-doo-bop-a-la bamboo. And nobody's wrong anymore.
Yeah. Well, Rihanna calls it Barbados.
Well, that's because she's stupid.
So I'm going to be the queen aunt of scallops in Barbados. Then that'll be my title.
Queen aunt of scallops.
I swear to God, dude, that's what I said to my wife while we were finding and recording because it wasn't that easy to get and to do and record it. And I said, no, I want to be the aunt of scallops.
I'm the aunt of scallops in Barbados.
I told it yesterday.
Not on this show. So if it didn't happen on the air, it didn't happen.
I'm with you. Okay, I'll take it back. Whatever we're talking about, you're right.
I am the queen aunt of scallops in Barbados.
That's fair enough. You called it.
All right, so that's my title. If I took it away, you can't have it. What's your title? Real or imagined, Danny? What is it going to be?
All right, I'll start with, we have this in my house, although I changed the gender for it. I want to be the king of all games. The king of all games at my house means I won at backgammon, and then when anybody loses at backgammon, they challenge the other guy to a card game, hoping to get some of their dignity back, but she can't when I'm the king of all games.
Paul, if you were going to have your own title, real or imagined, what would it be?
I think the Pope has the coolest titles because people have to call him His Holiness or Supreme Pontiff, but I don't really have the schooling for that. I don't think I'm ready to be the Pope.
Yeah, also chastity and poverty, dude.
But
don't do that.
Since I'm a butcher and a pig farmer, I think I would be the Baron of Bacon.
I like the Baron of Bacon.
I like that.
So now you all have to call me that, the Baron of Bacon.
All right,
Okay.
then I'm the Count of Comedy.
All right.
Because I want royalty now.
Well, which one do you want to be? You're going to be the king
That's
of all
it?
games or the count of cards?
How does
What
this
was
work?
it?
Do I get one or do I get as many as I
You
want?
get one.
Oh, well, then I'm going to go for the Count of Comedy.
I like that.
I like the count of comedy.
All right.
Well, you guys listening, if you were going to have your own title, whether it's real or imagined, what would it be? Call us now, 800-252-1025, or text your answer in to 90627.
Okay, Rihanna has been named Ambassador Extraordinary to Barbados. The question is, if you were to have your very own title, of course, real and or imagined, what would it be? 1-800-252-1025. You can text to 90627.
Good morning, Brad and Tukwila.
Hey, Brad.
Good morning.
Morning.
So, about 15 years ago, I was telling my friends they had to do everything I said because I was the emperor of the universe. And when they didn't believe me, I went out and got a tattoo of a Japanese kanji on my wrist that says emperor.
Wow. Now, just out of curiosity, have you ever shown that to a person who reads Japanese to make sure it really says that?
Yes.
Okay, because I have one on my back that's supposed to say love, and I don't think it does. All right, thank you, Brad.
And let's talk to Mark and Sumner, real or imagined. What's your title?
I'm going to go with the Duke of Dirt since I haul dirt for a living.
Oh, I like it, the Duke of Dirt. And, you can just impose that upon yourself if you want. Remember, David Bowie was the thin white Duke just because he said so.
Yeah.
My ex-wife was going to buy me a baronhood, an Italian baronhood, for 65 G's. And luckily I caught her in time and said, we don't have 65 G's. And it came with some property, too. You can buy titles. I didn't know that.
Chip from Carbonado gets it. He texted into 90627. I want to be sirloin of beef.
Oh, I like it a lot, sirloin of beef.
Well done, Chip.
Paul is
I get
the
it.
bacon of Baron. Danny
Or
is
other
the
way around.
bacon.
Baron of Bacon.
Baron of Bacon. Oh, yeah. I said that backwards.
Also telling the Baron of Beef that he was well done. I got that. That was very funny, mister.
Danny is the comedy of count. I figured I'd do yours backwards as well. Let's talk to Dave in Federal Way.
Hey, Dave.
Half a day from gone, guys. Good morning.
Morning.
Hey, can I tell Sherry on the radio that I can't make it to her wedding this weekend, but congratulations.
No, you cannot.
Hey,
Dave.
Shirley,
We can't allow that.
Congratulations, and congratulations, wife, because Hoppa Dave won't be there at your wedding. All right, what do you got for us, Hoppa Dave?
Hey, I got 3 of them. The first one is the protector of children's tears. The second one is the conqueror of women's virginity, and the third one is hop a day for Guatemala.
I'm going to give you a hop a day from Guam.
Oh, my goodness. 800-252-1025. If you're going to have your own title, real or imagined, what would it be? Good morning, Rob in Louisville.
Hey, Rob.
Good morning. Hey, guys. Well, I'm going to steal this from Dave in Federal Way, and I'm going to go with Hopper Rob from Louisville.
Hopper Dave is flipping out right now. Oh, my God, he's
yes.
stealing my name. Hopper Rob.
Thanks, Hopper Rob.
Thanks, Hopper Rob.
Greg is calling from Renton. If you're going to have your own title, real or imagined, what would it be?
Count Fix-A-Lot.
Okay, I'm assuming you can fix stuff.
If you break it, Danny, I can fix it for you.
I can break it.
Yeah,
but
we can break it.
That is a skill I admire so much. Remember when an actual person had to come to my house to change light bulbs?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of shameful and embarrassing, but I could not do that. 25 feet in the air, and I didn't have the tools.
Count Fix-A-Lot. I like that one.
Oh, I would have been Count Chocula.
That's
I
taken.
think that's already taken.
Yeah, but I'll take it from him. This is my game. Shut up.
Joe in Chicago texted in. He wants to be called the king of all garbage men. And he wants to remind you that it's not sanitation engineer, #dumb Sarah.
Thank you very much for that.
Tori, if you're going to have your own title, real or imagined, what are you going to have?
This is kind of a given, but Princess of Prague.
I like it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
President Prague. Very nice. Very nice.
And Derek, if you're going to have your own title, real or imagined, what are you going to go with?
Major Corporal Sergeant General. I just want all of the military titles rolled into one.
Major Corporal Sergeant General. I like it.
Is he missing any?
Oh, yeah.
Private?
Well, he could jump to the other things and be an admiral.
Yeah, I
Certainly.
guess.
Master hand?
Oh, he
Colonel.
never misses his privates. I don't think that's even possible.
Our friend Crazy Mary, who's having trees fall on her probably right now as we speak, texted in to say, tell Hoppa Dave that my name is Mary, not Sherry, and why aren't you coming to my wedding?
Oh my gosh, Becky.
Congratulations, Mary.
So it's Mary getting married this
Well,
weekend.
wait, maybe there's a girl named Sherry getting married this week.
Maybe.
Hoppa Dave would not make that mistake. It's Crazy Mary. She's famous.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Crazy Mary, we will not be attending your wedding this weekend.
But
because we're
congratulations.
afraid to drive there because a tree would probably
Were we
land on
invited?
us.
I don't think she invited us.
Yeah, we're all invited.
Really? How do you
Yep.
know?
Because we are. Crazy Mary loves us. If she's going to invite Hoppa Dave and not you.
Yes, that's why I'm asking.
And
How'd
also,
that
I sent you
happen?
the invitation like a month ago.
I didn't get it. Shut up.
Another texter in the 90627 wants to be king of you people. I think
What do you
that's
mean,
fair.
you people?
Yeah, exactly.
Very nice.
A 2-alarm fire has left 6 people temporarily homeless in Renton. The fire broke out late last night on the green condos, and they said it was a second alarm fire. 3 units were damaged by smoke and flames. Thankfully, no one was injured, and now investigators are trying to figure out what started this fire. Starbucks plans to cut jobs this fall at its Seattle headquarters, including eliminating some of its top executives. Starbucks says it is reorganizing in a bid to make quicker decisions and reignite sales growth. The restructuring is the latest in a turbulent year for the coffee giant, which has seen a lot of departures. They have seen, of course, that racially charged arrest that took place in Philadelphia. And now they said they want to make things move faster, and that will be eliminating some top spots.
I'm down with it. Really, I think the corporate world just bogs itself down. You know, when you have too many people at the head of a company, I don't know how you get anything done. No offense to iHeartRadio, because they're kind enough to employ us, but they have vice presidents in charge of They have vice president in charge of hair, vice president in charge of vice president, whatever it is. We have a lot of vice presidents. I don't know how we even get stuff done.
A lot of times in that corporate structure, you just start having meetings about future meetings.
Right,
and
we'll have meetings
It's
soon.
cyclical. Yeah.
And then we'll have a caucus. I don't even know what that is, but I'll attend.
You mentioned that racially charged arrest. Like, they moved fast on that. They had a statement out that day. They had the, sensitivity training in all stores within a week.
If you want to go to the bathroom in our restaurant, you can.
Yeah.
Which now, by the way, according to yesterday's paper, the number one person to find overdose people, baristas, because they're finding them in the private bathrooms at coffee shops.
Really?
Yep. Literally.
Michael Kors has acquired Gianni Versace for $2.1 billion. Michael Kors, the company, is a global fashion leader, and this will help solidify that. $2.1 billion Michael Kors Holdings said after the deal closes today, they made this announcement today, but once the deal officially closes, they're going to change its name to Capri Holdings, the name inspired by the iconic Italian island.
Oh, nice. Now, so they're buying Gianni Versace, but they're changing his name once they get it?
No, I think that what they're doing is changing the name of the company, which is Michael Kors.
The parent company?
Oh, they're changing. Because my opinion is Versace died when Versace died. That there is no Versace. There's holdings, there's company, there's this, there's that. But there's no new Versace without Versace.
His sister does it, Donatella.
Yeah, she's terrible at it. Now, did anybody see the movies and or documentaries they made about their lives? She does not come off as a real designer in any of them.
Well, she has been the person at the helm, and Versace is still worth a boat ton of money. And recently, Michael Kors acquired Jimmy Choo, and this kind of makes him have his fingers in a lot of different fashion areas.
Right. Shoes.
That sounded really weird.
You're right, though.
Yeah, I mean, and Michael Kors has a brand that is more affordable. But on the grand scale, Michael Kors is still more affordable than Jimmy Choo and Versace.
Yeah. Absolutely.
John,
listen to Paul and I. Yeah, totally.
Absolutely, yeah. I know
is,
when I buy my Jimmy Choo shoes, I spend way too much money.
They've made themselves so famous that we're right. We're informed people about this decision. It sounds funny for us to be going, Versace's too overpriced and Jimmy Choo's those shoes. But the fact is we're right with our opinions just because they've jumped into our living rooms.
Definitely.
John Hancock, one of the oldest and largest North American life insurers, will stop underwriting traditional life insurance and instead sell only interactive policies that track fitness and health data through wearable devices and smartphones.
Cool. I can live with those things. I love those things.
Well, I don't know if you're going to love this because it's got its proponents and opponents.
Like they'll change the price of your premium based on how many steps you got that month?
Yep.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and I can't imagine because people cheat. Remember the first one of these I got? I attached the wheel of my Fiat so I could beat Amy.
Policyholders would score premium discounts for hitting exercise targets tracked on things like a Fitbit or an Apple Watch. They'd get gift cards or other perks if they log their workouts and if they purchase healthy foods in an app.
Yeah, now it's Big Brother. Now I don't like it even a little bit. You know what they need to do is align themselves with a big sports name in the first place, like Dick Buttkiss. So it'd be Hancock Buttkiss. I'd buy that. Wouldn't you buy that?
Absolutely.
I'd buy that.
Yes, I would.
Thank you.
An American tourist is being treated in a Florida hospital after being attacked by a shark while spearfishing in the Bahamas. The 32-year-old Massachusetts native was bitten in the Treasure Key area of Abaco Island, and this woman had been spearfishing, then swimming back to her boat with the speared fish when the shark attacked her. It caused severe trauma to her left hand. She was with 3 other people, but no one else was injured. They flew her from the Bahamas to Florida for treatment, and she told authorities she isn't mad at the shark because getting attacked is a common risk with spearfishing.
Well, no, it's not. I'm sorry you're a victim, and maybe you can say lunacy things, but the fact of the matter is, I'm also not mad at the shark if that happened to me because it's what they do. I'm in their water, but
taking their
shark
food.
bite of any kind is not common. Oh, it's a common thing when you go swim. When I go to take a shower, shark bites. No, it's not common.
She
Crazy.
said a common risk. So she knew it's the risk. Like, when we see the side effects, and the side effects are like, you could have dizziness, you could trip over your shoe if your shoe is untied. Those are like on the outside
of
chances of a side effect. So she's saying when it comes to the risks,
it's not a common occurrence, but she was aware of the risk.
Right.
Yeah, that if you are out in the open ocean with a bloody fish, you might get attacked by a shark. Might not, but it's a risk that you could get attacked.
Well, if you remember, not that long ago, you was a very good risk that a spaceship might fall through the roof because it was going through space. Not a great risk. All I'm saying is, I'm sorry the lady got bit, but it's not a common thing. And I want to pass it along. It's a common thing because, Derek's playing the Jaws music, and I'm actually getting squeamish. Listening to, oh, man, there's a shark in the room.
Well, she's not mad at the shark, but we don't know quite how severe the trauma is to her left hand. But she's kind of a badass.
Yeah, she is.
I mean, if somebody told me, oh, you can go snorkeling, but you might get bit by a shark, it's just one of the risks, I'd probably not want to snorkel there.
Well, don't they say that every time?
Not
Isn't
every-
a shark risk every day you're in an ocean?
I don't think so. There's plenty of oceans that don't have sharks. It's too warm or it's too middle of nowhere.
The point is, if you're going snorkeling here, we don't have sharks here, but they're in the ocean. They could bite you.
they
That's
could.
all there is to it.
She's kind of a badass anyway, just for going spearfishing.
I love that. I've never
Yeah.
even done it. I did bow and arrows, bow fishing
right, yeah.
before. Never hit a friggin' thing.
No?
No, the fish aren't where they look like they are.
And they move around a lot.
You got to go like 20 degrees up or some such. I think I clubbed one with my bow once.
It could be a $6.5 million hat, but it might not belong to who you think. We talked about this hat not too long ago. It's the crown jewel of the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library and Museum's collection. It's Lincoln's stovepipe hat, just one of 3 thought to still exist.
I thought it was a crown.
No.
You think it was a crown? Okay.
This is a hat, and they said it belonged to Lincoln, and now its provenance is in question. They are selling this for $6.5 million. And
This was a museum that was selling it?
yes, because they are
They
out
couldn't
of money.
afford, yeah.
Yeah.
They bought too much cool Lincoln stuff.
Right.
Now there are experts out there who say you have no idea if this is Lincoln's hat.
Oh, they took it to Pawn Stars, and Rick was like, I gotta bring in a buddy of mine. He knows everything about
Just shop
stovepipe
around for a
hats.
few minutes and we'll know.
Yeah, it's DNA testing that they're doing, and they were using DNA from his hair and blood-splattered items from his assassination. And they said, well, there's a little bit of DNA in the hat. It's totally Lincoln's. And then another person was like, yeah, it's actually the dude who's been handling the hat. That's not Lincoln's. That's just Joe. That's Steve's hat. That's Becky's DNA over there. So they don't know for sure that this is even Lincoln's hat.
Well, this seems like weird jumps to make. I mean, before you made that kind of press, when we do have DNA testing that they didn't have then or even, 25 years ago for good DNA testing, it seems like an odd mistake to make.
Yeah.
It does, and you just wonder, was it the museum when they first got it? And they're like, well, there's not really enough DNA for us to tell, oh, yeah, but this is Lincoln's hat. Come and see it. Pay your $20 to get in. But now
Do they talk like that?
They did.
Because I don't know that I'd go to their museum. This is Lincoln's hat. You better give me your money.
I promise it's not a fake.
There's DNA.
Seattle Art Museum just called and asked me to be their new spokesperson and
Is that
teach
right?
them how to talk.
If I ever saw a docent, it's you. What's a docent?
A man was arrested for breaking into a home. He was arrested right before he got to do what he wanted to do in that home. Now, occasionally we hear stories about people breaking into a house to eat the food,
Right.
Yeah, right.
to take a nap.
Make a sandwich.
Yeah, well, this guy had filled the bathtub. He had lit a few candles, was about to take a bath when police arrived and arrested him.
He put out candles and stuff?
Well,
It's a
there were
weird
candles there.
thing
He
to
just
think
lit
of.
them. Yeah, I mean,
Oh, there
Throwing
were
a
candles
bath
already
bomb?
there. All right.
Throwing a bath bomb.
yeah.
You got to let him take his bath before you haul him off, right?
I know, and I don't know what you're going to put the handcuffs on because that's kind of funny.
Mosquitoes were the ones who ended a high-speed police chase in
Really?
Wisconsin. What?
I said, really?
Yeah. In Wisconsin's Fond du Lac County.
Oh, do you think it'd be the cheese that would stop me in fondue lac? If you lack fondue, just go to the melting pot. Be crazy and getting a high-speed chase.
There's got to be a fondue restaurant in Fond du Lac, right?
Oh, for sure.
Wisconsin. That's the home of cheeseheads, right?
Yeah, it is.
We all agree.
The Dairyland, yeah.
No, then I got confused. It was Michigan for a hot second there.
Those cheese heads up in Michigan.
Yeah, they're crazy.
Mosquitoes are very plentiful in central Wisconsin at this time of year, thanks to rains and flooding. But they bugged one man out so much, he preferred to be arrested by police. It all started when he stole 3 bottles of Jägermeister from a Piggly Wiggly in Wisconsin, was captured on surveillance video. The manager saw him load his cart up with all this booze, and he recognized him because he'd stolen from his store before. The owner chased him out of the store, but then he got into a car and drove away. He wrote down his license plate. The manager guy calls the cops. They arrive. There's a high-speed chase. He pulls over, runs into a cornfield, thinking the police will never find me in here.
Yeah.
The mosquitoes were so bad, he had to leave the cornfield and was promptly arrested.
Well, I'm glad to hear it, but I think there's a lot of ways out of that.
Like?
First thing I would have done is I'd have covered myself, if I could, in a layer of dust from the ground where they plow it so the dirt's loose.
Yeah.
And then they can't, it also works if the predator is after you. Cover yourself in mud and he can't see you.
They said when we handcuffed him, he asked us to wipe his forehead because he had 20 mosquitoes on his forehead at the time.
Poor guy. I am real lucky with mosquitoes. I don't get bit at all. Sometimes my feet only. If I just wear socks, I never get. Man, on vacation, Amy got bit alive. She was crazy about it. It drives you crazy.
Indeed.
I hate mosquitoes. I've been itching over here just while we were talking about it.
Oh my God, I didn't even realize I have been too.
You know what? So while we're discussing mosquitoes that you guys are itching, I'm still looking for the shark because we played the Jaws music. This is a weird room to work in.
A witness has filmed a Daredevil raccoon's unusual stunt in New Jersey. The animal climbed to the 9th story of a building before jumping.
I saw this.
I saw it.
Right up the wall.
And
Spider-Man.
then jumped with a full twist. It was amazing. And I thought they were showing it with such glee. I thought, well, something has to catch this raccoon. He can't just fall to his death.
He's going to die, right?
Sand. It fell into sand and then surprised witnesses by scurrying off without any apparent signs of injury.
My bet it scurried off to die.
Yeah, it surprised me because it took a pretty good splat when
You
it
don't
hit the
take
ground.
that hit 9 stories. He doesn't do anything to break his fall. He just lands on his side. I mean, he was a bitchin' raccoon, too, as raccoons go, or as trash pandas go. He was super cool and did the way cool dive, but I think he crawled off into the bushes to die.
I want a happy ending.
Well, this just got
pay
depressing.
extra. What?
I said this just got depressing, but I want to let you guys know you can watch it at KZOK.com.
Let's have it have a happy ending. Oh, and then Steve and Becky went into the bushes, and there he was hanging out with all his other little trash panda friends.
You're aware you do the news, right? You just can't do that.
Well, we don't know it's dead.
They
We
adopted
can't
him.
just do
People
that.
went in and saw it and danced around.
Yeah, they did.
I heard Steve and Becky saved the raccoon.
That's what I
Thank
caught
you.
him
Adopted him.
in their jaws.
Today
Yeah.
is National Lobster Day.
National Lobster Day.
I want one.
That's going to mean free food at Red Lobster, but the deal they're running this year is not exactly what you would
I
expect.
love Red Lobster. It's so cheesy, but I love it.
Well, you can get a free order of their lobster and langostino pizza.
Yeah. All right. I want it.
Yeah, seriously.
It's a
Who-
new thing. I didn't know they made it.
I didn't either. It sounds awesome, though.
And I go. I'm a Red Lobster guy. I go every time I'm on my way to Tacoma. Not every time, but a lot. And they have great stuff, but I didn't notice pizza.
Langostinos are yummy, too. The
Yeah.
little baby lobster.
Well, they are doing this with a couple of caveats, like you do have to buy something.
Sure. That's fair.
But they said this is a unique seafood pie, and it is a traditional pizza, mozzarella tomatoes, but then covered in Maine lobster, Norway lobster, and langostino.
Yum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've been doing that endless shrimp deal that they do.
Yeah, they do.
And people get super excited. I don't know how much shrimp you can eat, but you can find out.
I'm going to go with a bunch. And that's, unless they slide in like more fried ones and battered ones and breaded ones, that can get you full.
Yeah, I mean, it does look like they're pretty heavy. Garlic shrimp scampi, hand-breaded shrimp, and shrimp linguine Alfredo. You can't eat all
yummy,
that
but
much
you
of
can't
that.
eat too much of it. I'll
Stick
try
with
though.
the scampi.
When you think of IHOP, what do you think of?
Pancakes.
And burgers.
No, that's
Pancakes.
IHOB.
That's right. Yeah, sorry.
Pancakes.
Yeah, pancakes.
Well, they are celebrating their 2018 fall pancake lineup with something super weird. It's a pumpkin pancake stout.
Is it a beer?
Beer.
Huh.
All right.
Because I was with you all the way through when they were still pancakes, and then they went stout on me.
I don't know, as somebody who drinks a lot of beer and likes to try new things, I can't say that I'm really that interested in an IHOP beer.
Why not?
It just seems like it should be pancakes. I don't know if I want my
Is
beer
there a
to taste
chance that you're a super beer snob?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe.
And I can't try it, so Paul, go try some
Yeah, I'll go
IHOP
try
beer.
it. And I assume they serve it for breakfast. It's
Sure.
breakfast all day long.
Breakfast is what's for dinner.
Yeah.
Well,
Or is that beef?
Beef, yeah.
Beef,
the other
that's
white
what's
meat.
for breakfast.
Right.
Beef, the other white meat.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just going to agree with you, man. Right.
Pancakes, pumpkin pancake stout combines IHOP's pancakes, pumpkin, maple syrup, and other pancake ingredients to create an innovative new flavor profile.
Kind of sounds great, to be honest. Really?
Yeah, because it can't.
Well, you can't drink it anyway.
I can't. And then in my feeble mind, where I can't grasp too many things, how does it taste like three things at once? It tastes like one of those things. It's not like, oh, pancakes. Oh, maple syrup. Oh, butter. That can't happen, can it?
She was just saying those are the ingredients, not that it tastes like all of those things at once.
Oh, no, I think she said
I don't know. I think it tastes like those things.
Okay, but
So
that's
shut up, Paul.
Those aren't the words
Yeah,
she said.
Paul.
You've been right all
She said-
morning.
Do
She
you
said-
understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Yes, you said combines the ingredients, pancakes, maple syrup, and something
No.
else.
No.
Yeah, you did.
It combines IHOP's pancakes, pumpkins, maple syrup, and other pancake ingredients to
Yeah.
create an
Yeah. Sounds like-
innovative new flavor
Flavor.
profile.
Sounds like exactly like what I
You
just
know,
said.
I enjoy riding Sarah as much as the next guy.
What?
Whoa.
But you seem to take an extra special
So
desire there.
the flavor was the singular thing, and it includes all of those ingredients to make
He's
it.
right. You're right. You're just right, Paul.
I honestly am racking my brain trying to think if I've ever had pancake beer before. So maybe I should
No, you
say
haven't.
kudos to IHOP for creating this because I've never heard of it.
Paul says you haven't. So
Yeah,
I'm
so
thinking
I
you
haven't.
haven't. Yeah.
Oh, Paul's
Yeah,
always right.
Paul's always right.
I'm
That's what
Paul.
he's
I'm
going-
always right.
I don't know. You have to say it like that. But
Yeah, then you'll sound like Danny.
yeah. What?
Oh, I just squeaked. Hey, how about some good news?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.